Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Loring Davis. I'm the founder of realestateframe.com. So, how do you access all of your documents from anywhere on a moment's notice? Today, to answer that question, is John Crowe. He's the owner of Crowe Homes in Austin, Texas. John, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, how do you do that? How do you have documents in one place or the next place? How do you access that from anywhere, on the go, in the office, so that it's all in one place?
Smartphone, etc. Yeah. Two names for you, and almost everyone in the business is likely familiar with that. Evernote and Dropbox. Two lifesavers, and I'm glad they came along. I think I got on Evernote a little later than I'd expected, but those two, they're awesome.
What is Evernote?
Evernote is, I mean, imagine my old days, notes everywhere. So notes in Word documents, notes in maybe in tasks in Outlook, and notes on yellow note legal pads, all that stuff. I drop it in one place. I can tag it. It's easy for me to index, find anything, and I can create a nice set of files and groups. It's pretty cool. So now, at a moment's notice, if I need something, I can find it really, really easily. Where before I'm scrambling through files, looking in Word docs, trying to figure out where I put that smart idea.
So give me an example of how you use that. Now, just for the folks that might be watching that aren't familiar with Evernote, it can be used on nearly any phone. It's on your desktop. It's on a PC or Mac. But give me an example of how recently you've used Evernote and it's come back and been a real benefit.
Well, they'll give you two examples today. I use both of them for this reason. One is a client example. When I speak, we're working a deal, so I'm representing a buyer in this case, and we're working with the seller. Went through the inspection yesterday. I write my notes in there so that when I have that conversation with the listing agent, I can bring up all the relevant points that we want to make sure she's aware of, she can bring back to her client. So that's there, so when she calls me and I'm not sitting in front of a computer, I can pick it up on my smartphone and take a look and make sure I don't forget what I had in there. The second thing is I read a blog. I read a blog for a local company here that does a lot of event and management, rather, event stuff in Austin. And one of the things there, I write notes down for my blog, and when I come up with a good idea, I like to make sure I have the ability to do that. And I did that this afternoon. That one happened to be in front of the computer, so it's pretty. So I just tap out notes in that, and I can go back to it repeatedly, refine it, edit it, tighten it up until it's ready to go.
And why not just why not a Word doc? I suppose the excessive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with something like Dropbox, I could do that. But however, you know, looking at it on my phone, on multiple computers, all I need to do is log in to Evernote, and it's there. It's so easy to find, so easy to track down. I can get it from anywhere. If I'm in a library, if I'm here at the main Keller Williams office, and I just want to get to one of their desktops, I can pop it up there. I don't have to be tied to any particular machine or any place where a file may or may not be. If it's not there, I can't access it. If it is, great, I'm lucky in the case of a Word document. Here, I don't have to worry about that. It's just one simple thing. I can get it. All I need is a browser.
Got it. I believe that Evernote has a premium feature, but for the most part, it's free, right?
That's even better. And you know our world in real estate, if it's free and it's useful, why not take advantage?
Why not? Tell me about Dropbox. How do you use it? Give me a couple examples of how it's been a solution that's provided value.
Yeah. So last week I had a closing and I needed to pull up a form. I inevitably in this business you forget something. We have a lot of what we call paper forms contracts. Lead-based paint form. I needed to bring that to get signatures from a client at closing. Didn't get it in advance. So it was easy. While there, I didn't have my laptop with me. Was able to just pull it up and give the link to the title company. They pulled that file up that they needed, plugged it into the closing docs, got it signed and done. So now I don't have something else I have to do outside of closing other than deposit my check.
Wow.
I go home and I don't have to worry about the file anymore.
Sure. So from your phone completely, you were able to access that document, identify a public link, email that to the title company. They're able to download, have print, have signed, and then readmitted to that folder?
The beauty of Dropbox, you just basically you can allow someone access to that, and once you have that in there, then they can access any folder that you're sharing. That's the elegance of that product. And you know, since most people do happen to have Word, and actually in that case it was a PDF. What am I thinking? in that case, they just pull it up and exactly what you said. Print it out, get it signed, and lock it up.
Wow. Wow, that's great. So Evernote.com, Dropbox.com, they both work on a multitude of platforms. Both are free. I believe they both have premium versions, but you can use them and start using them, getting familiar with them for free. Talk to me just a little bit about moving away from the accessibility, so to speak, of the cloud. But tell me, how do you manage your clients?
I manage my clients, and this is sort of, you talk about getting away from the cloud. This goes a little old school, and I manage them with Outlook, and I manage them through Excel. And it's one of these things with Excel. Time and again, I've seemed to have come back to it after trying some of those contact management products that are out there. I'm a big believer in technology simplifying lives. However, this is one solution that's worked for me time and again. Just a simple flat file on a computer screen. I can manage it. I know it's not going anywhere. It's easy for me to update, and I hope one day I'll go beyond that. Outlook, from a simple point of phone numbers and email addresses, it's there. I can get access to people, have a conversation with them however they choose, whether I am texting them because I've got their number there, whether I'm actually calling them at their office or on their cell, or just sending them an email.
Now, is Office synced to your phone?
Office is synced to my phone.
So you've got all your contacts. If you add a contact in the field, it's going to show up on your desktop?
I can, and so the Office suite is there, but it's minimized on my phone, so it's more, it's really tough if you're thinking about Office and the suite of products there. I don't go into the spreadsheet unless I'm looking for something. It's rare that I add, but pretty much through Outlook is where I end up adding or subtracting clients.
So, why not the cloud? Why not, a Google suite of tools, or, why not Google? Why not Google?
That is definitely a good question, and I've got to say it's probably in the future. And I hate to admit this, it's being a little lazy and a little comfortable with some of these things. I mentioned I've gone back and forth and trying different products that are out there, and I won't name names, but contact management products, and I end up reverting to the old standbys there. I'm definitely headed that way because of the success I've had with the Dropboxes of the world and the Evernotes of the world. Google is an awesome company and doing a lot of great things that are really making it easy for people in our industry to take advantage of those tools and do the things that we need to do, which is buying houses, helping people buy houses, helping people sell houses. And if technology can make my life easier, I'm going to use it.
Sure.
So it's there. It's just a matter of getting over the obstacle, and the obstacle is really one of being a mule than anything else.
Well, I think there's some sage advice that I've heard more than once, and that's, it doesn't really matter what you use as long as you use it. So
that's valuable. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
So how you've been in the game? How long you've been in the game? 7, 8 years now?
You got it. 8 years.
8 years. Okay. And how big is your? Obviously you've got lots of friends and family and things like that. How many people are in your sphere of influence that you're touching and talking actively about real estate?
254.
254.
And that is definitely limited. That's my sphere of influence. That's it. There are other prospects that are out there. There's a great deal more than that, but those are the ones that are on that list that I need to touch, need to maintain contact with, because they're going to buy or sell a home, or they're going to pass somebody along to me, give me a referral of someone who will do the same.
Sure. And how do you know it? That's a really exact number. Somewhere around 250, a lot of people would say. How do you know it's 254?
Because I see it. It's like anything. A number, you see it. I don't have the greatest memory, but I see it. I see it because I touch it at a minimum once a month, and often a lot more frequently than that.
Wow.
And it's, I look at it saying, I know when people are at it. I know if I'm taking somebody off because perhaps they've moved out of state. Actually, a great example. A guy named Scott Stevens in my database moved to Nashville, found out he's moving back to Austin here. He comes back in. Well, I kept him. I didn't keep him in that database for contact where he'd get my updates and tips. I kept him in my friend database because he's a good guy and I like staying in touch with him. But he's back, so he's added in there. He'll be 255.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So what tools do you use to stay in contact with these folks? What do you use?
Great product, Campaign Monitor. And for those that are familiar with it, it's a really simple solution. They give you some templates. I use a company here in Austin called Paper Mud that created a template for me. Just a friend of mine in town who's a really good design guy.
Wait,
And
what exactly does it do? What does Campaign Monitor do?
Campaign Monitor, it's awesome from what you can do with it and what you can actually watch. And you mentioned numbers, the 254. Campaign Monitor allows you to see exactly how many people are reading your stuff, whether they're clicking through links. So to give you an idea, I send out a monthly update and I provide some useful information and kind of what I'll take that information, I'll usually use that, repurpose it in a blog. But that information, just some tips, whether it's something simple like spring cleaning tips or making sure your insurance. We had fires recently here in the Austin area and across Texas, and found a lot of folks were underinsured. So tips on how to make sure you're insured. So should you need to rebuild, things I think are useful, links to properties, elements like that. And so when I push that out, I can tell who's reading it. It's got this worldview and snapshot. Snapshot shows you what percentage of people have opened it, who's actually clicked to the links, and you can drill down to the specific person, find out if they're looking at a particular property and a photo or two of that property. It's really cool.
It's broadcasting email. You're able to include your entire database. You write one story or include one PDF or one tidbit of information, and then it's getting broadcast to all these folks. Then you're able to granularize that. I don't even know if that's a word. Granularize.
Hey, go with it.
Look at granule data and really drill down to see, are they looking at a particular photo, or what have you? All from one interface. Really cool. Wow. What's the cost associated with emailing to 254 people?
Well, I don't do the, they have a flat fee, which is $15 a month, so it's really manageable. I mean, in our world, we like to spend as little as possible, and as little as possible, ideally, is nothing. But the one I use is $5 plus 1 cent per subscriber. So if I like to keep that down to about 1 to maybe 2 touches a month. I think more than that, then you get to that point where you become a little bit more noise than maintaining a good positive contact. So I'm looking at typically less than $14 a month or so. I've got to do the math on that one. Actually, I take that back. Wouldn't it be $254 would be? So it'd be $754 for all of those. So just over the $50. Maybe I ought to change that if I do more than 2. We'll see.
Yeah, well, but that's great. For $10 you can touch your database. There's a lot of folks out there that might suggest, a lot more that have more experience than I, that would say having more than 250, 300 people in your database is overkill anyway. And so for less than 10 or $15, you can touch them, you can give a valuable piece of information and stay on top of mind.
And even better, I can see what resonates. I can see if there's a property or a set of properties in a particular neighborhood that seem to get more interest by people clicking on those links. If a topic, for some reason, resonates more than something else. And I know I can scratch that note down in Evernote, and next blog or next time I put that email blast together, I'm going to focus on those topics because I know that they were interesting and appealing. At the end of the day, that's what I want. I want to be memorable because I want these folks to, when it comes time to make that referral happen, or when it comes time for them to sell their house and buy another one, I want them to pick up the phone or text, whatever it is, get in touch with me so that I can help them on that end.
Sure. Do you have any sort of ritual or some sort of system, so to speak, for making sure that email goes out every month like clockwork? Is there anything, is it on your calendar? How does that work?
It is, yeah. And it's one of these things, you talk about this. I have a schedule in my Outlook calendar that every day I've got a different set of things that I'm doing, whether it's an open house that's coming up that's on the calendar, whether it's just a matter of simple prospecting or just going back and looking to clients and making sure I have those touch points. Wednesdays are my days to talk with my sellers on the listings, things like that. And actually today I had the alert come up that said my next email blast topic needs to get going because here we are at the 20th of the month. And if I want to push that out, I typically do it towards the end of the month or the first of the month, depending on if there's a holiday, some big event, something else that might interfere. And it goes out on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Ideally around 10 in the morning. However, if there's something where if it's connected to something else, like a blog that's going out at the same time, it may go out in the afternoon. But mornings tend to get the best reception. Interesting.
Well, we could probably talk about the psychology and the way that works with the way people's social habits and that sort of thing That could be an interview in and of itself, probably. John, if somebody wants to contact you about this interview, about your business, about Austin real estate, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
There's a number of different ways. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, phone. So Facebook is just www.facebook.com/Crowe Homes, and that's CROWE. Yeah, CROWEHOMES.
Right.
Twitter is twitter.com/Crowe Homes as well. Number 512-636-0100. Website, of course, www.crowhomes.com, and again, CROWEHOMES.
Got it.
And email is john@crowhomes.com. A lot of Crowe Homes in there.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, I really, really appreciate you taking a few minutes to answer some of these questions for me, and I think some folks will find some value in it as well.
Thanks, Aaron. It's a lot of fun.
You got it, man. Talk soon.
Thank you.
You got it.